What's up, Michigan fans? Welcome back to the Maize and Bluebeard podcast, where we talk all things Michigan football and basketball. Thanks for being here. We got a packed show. We've got some unfortunate news to talk about. It's not final yet, but we may be losing a fantastic position coach, recruiter, and person from the Michigan football program. But we'll talk all about it and talk about what we know. We'll also recap Michigan's gigantic win over Penn State last night. All this and more on this episode of the Maize and Bluebeard podcast. Let's get to it. So as many of you may have seen or heard last night, in the middle of Michigan's basketball game versus Penn State, Jeff Zubrick reported that Lou Esposito, Michigan's fantastic recruiter, ace recruiter, who had got accolades for being a top 5 recruiter in the country, defensive tackle, interior defensive line coach, and just a fantastic person and mentor to so many young men in the program. It is reported that he was leaving to head to the NFL, to the Baltimore Ravens, to become Jesse Minter's defensive line coach on his new staff. I saw that it broke. I kind of let it percolate for a while, and then I put out a post about it a little bit later on after the Michigan game, after Michigan beat Penn State. We'll talk about that later on. But it does appear there is some oomph to this news, and I'll talk about a couple things that may save us. As of the time of recording this video, it is not finalized. He's not signed on the dotted line, and Michigan, of course, is going to do everything they can to keep him. He is such a great recruiter, and he's had an impact on so many of these recruits coming in, that Whittingham and company were very smart to keep him on staff, and he's just a fantastic person to have in the locker room and with all these young men to teach them and to help them grow as players and people. But also, I understand if he wants to go to the NFL and coach with Jesse Minter. Jesse Minter is brilliant. I am probably going to become a little bit of a on the side Ravens fan because I can't wait to see how he does. Lions will come first, though. But anyway, this would be unfortunate. It would be a blow. Could Michigan recover? Will they be fine? Yes. He's a position coach. We'll talk about other options internally or externally that they could look at if he does officially leave. But first of all, how it would impact, like I already said, in general, he's a great person, great position coach. He's very good at coaching and developing players. I mean, he's been here to see the last couple of years when we've had really good players. He was at Western Michigan and helped Nealand and Braden Fisk, 2 fantastic players, when they were at Western Michigan. He also, of course, here worked a lot with Kenneth Grant and Mason Graham and so many other great defensive line players over the last few years. So his work for Michigan itself will be missed. And just what he brings, he's got a big, hearty personality. Everybody that meets him loves him. He's a family man. He's a high character guy. So he's setting a good example for all these players and these young men and helping them not only on the field to become better defensive linemen and football players, but overall just become better people. And people like that are special, and they're going to miss that. But also they're definitely going to miss him on the recruiting trail. He's very good at making connections, at interacting with people. He's very good at selling what Michigan has to offer, and he's just so good at making connections. Those kids want to come there to get to know him better and to be a part of the Michigan defensive line and have 4 years of developing with him, as like family. So it's definitely going to be missed. You look at some of the recruits that they have. He was the one that helped bring in Carter Meadows, and then also that stacked list of 4-star linemen, defensive linemen that are coming in, with Tariq Boney, who just went up to a 4-star, with Titan Davis, with Alistar Vallejo, and with Mikhail Blade. All of them, he was a big part in bringing them in, and now hopefully they're all signed and plan on coming. And I don't think that will change because they met the other coaches and they're excited to come to Michigan. But now you look at the ones that he's working on for 2027 and on, including one that I really want to come, Jeremiah Williams, probably my favorite recruit. I'm still hoping he comes, even if Esposito leaves. He's the 320 defensive lineman with an aggressive streak, like a little bowling ball, but also who plays fullback, running back, and is really good at that as well. I'm really hoping Michigan gets him, but lots of defensive linemen that are 4 and 5 stars that he's talking to and getting to be interested in coming to Michigan because of him. So it is a bummer, you're going to see a lot of both ways, people acting like the sky's falling and people acting like, oh, it's no big deal, he's just a position coach. But it is a big deal because he's so good at recruiting. Now, that being said, let's go talk back off the ledge here. Here's why, if he does leave, I'll talk about chances why he could stay. If he does leave, Michigan does have some good built-in replacements already, and there's some outside they could look at. First of all, they brought in Lewis Powell from Utah, who is a well-known, well-respected, and very well-liked defensive lineman coach and recruiter from Utah. And he has gone on all these recruiting visits with Esposito, and he's kind of been, I don't want to say he's been learning the ropes because he's a very good recruiter on his own right, but he's been going with Esposito and seeing how he does things. And he's also been connecting with these defensive linemen, and they love him too. So I think that he could take the role with the defensive line. And then the cool thing is that Michigan also retained not just Lou Esposito, but his, for an assistant in the defensive line room, his assistant defensive line coach from Western Michigan who came to Michigan with him, and that is David Denham, who people are very high on as a future defensive line coach down the road. And he also worked with Nealand and Fisk when they were together at Western Michigan, and also worked with all the defensive linemen we've had here since they came here. And he's seen Esposito recruit. He's talked to him. He's learned from him. He's been a mentor to him. So Dave Denham could be an easy person to slide in there and work with Lewis Powell, and they could just hit the ground running and do a good job together. But if they wanted to look outside to add more star power, they could look at BYU. Their defensive tackles coach, interior defensive line coach, like what Esposito did at BYU, he coached with Jay Hill, but he also was a star player for Kyle Whittingham, Sione Pua, and he is a stud, all-star coach, was a great player. So maybe they could snag him and bring him. Maybe they could convince him to come. Who knows what will happen? But there are some great internal and external candidates, and I trust Kyle Whittingham. He's put together a banger staff, and I'm sure that they will move forward in the best way for the team, if indeed Lou Esposito does go. Now, for me, I think if he has the opportunity to go coach in the NFL, and that's been a dream for him, he's probably going to go. That's just is what it is. Like, he has a family, and this is why maybe he stays. Kyle Whittingham and company really love him, and they want him to stay. So if he feels that love, and maybe they open up the pocketbooks, give him a little raise, maybe he wants to stay. He's got a family and a lot of kids, a wife and kids, and they're in the area and they love it. So maybe he stays for that reason. And also, really the biggest reason why he might be swayed to stay is his son just committed to the Michigan Wolverines to play for them, and that is Luis Esposito. That was just announced today before this news broke. So the opportunity to coach his own kid and have his own kid be on the team, that's pretty awesome. Not an opportunity you get often. So maybe Michigan comes at him hard and proves that they love him and they want him to stay, and he feels that love, and they offer him a little more money, and his son's going to be on the team, and his family wants to stay in the area. So we'll see. There's an opportunity here where he doesn't leave, but it just all depends on Lou Esposito. And, the reports are coming out that the offer has been made. He's considering it, whatever. We don't know what he's thinking. We don't know. I don't really know if his long-term goal was NFL. Most coaches, it is. So you couldn't fault him. He's awesome. He's earned it. And if that's what he wants to do, I respect it and I wish him well. But hopefully he stays. But if not, if he does leave, it would be a bummer. But I love that Esposito they've been traveling together at every recruiting meet. So Lewis Powell has also met all these recruits for the future classes, and he's been building relationships with them. And like I said, Dave Denham is there, who has been learning under Esposito for a long time, since their time at Western Michigan. Or you can bring in someone like Pua, who would be awesome. So there are options, and we don't know yet what's going to happen. As soon as I know for sure whether he's coming back or going, I'll throw out a short or a post or something. And who knows, maybe when you're watching this, the news has already broke that he's going or staying 100% for sure. But as of right now, it's up in the air. And like I said, my gut tells me he's probably going to go. But the family piece makes me wonder. And he loves what he does. He loves being at Michigan. So who knows? We shall see. It shouldn't take long to know what's going to happen. So there you go. There's the information. You have it. I'll keep you posted. Hopefully Esposito stays. But if he goes, congratulations to him. He's earned any opportunity that comes his way. And I wish him the best. But hopefully he'll stay right here. The Michigan Wolverines basketball team obliterated Penn State tonight, 110-69. They won by 41 points on Breast Cancer Awareness Night. Namari Burnett went off for 31 points. It was great to see. He was drilling threes left and right, but he also took advantage of defenders, which I've seen this before, and sometimes he settles for the three or he passes it off. But they'll be caught flat-footed because they don't expect him to drive. They're starting to think of him as just a spot-up three-point shooter. And he took advantage of that and blew past some Penn State guys and dunked the ball. And he was just on fire. Maybe it's because he had a little fire lit under him from how well McKinney's been playing that he may take that starting role from him. Who knows? But he looked fantastic. And if he can learn from this game and learn to be a little more aggressive and drive more and play that part of his game, which he's very good at, that could only help us down the stretch. But a lot of the starters got to rest most of the second half. We got to see the Ginger Assassin come in, Oscar Goodman. It was his birthday, and he came in and made some awesome dunks and plays that people were freaking out for. So that was fun. It's always fun to see the backups get in. But Michigan played fantastic. I wanted to see them come out and just take care of business against an inferior team. We know the last time they played Penn State, they only won by 2. But this time they got the job done. They blew them out from the beginning to the end. They played great defense inside and out. They controlled the boards. They won points in the paint. They shot over 60% overall, 50% from threes, like insane. They played fantastic. And they only had 9 turnovers. Elliot Cadeau had 0 turnovers and 8 assists. What a game he had. And everybody looked great, had a blast. They shared the ball. They had fun together, and it was just amazing. It looked like the team from the beginning of the year again, and they're getting their confidence, and they're clicking at just the right time. Next up, they've got Ohio State at Ohio State on Sunday afternoon, Super Bowl Sunday, so that'll be a fun one. Keep an eye on the channel. I'll for sure do a live post-game chat after the game, but if nothing's going on that day and things are chill with the kids, I will jump on and do a live stream of the game and chat. So keep an eye on the channel, and we'll see if I'm able to do that or not. But I'm excited to see how it goes. They got some tough games coming down. They've got some easy ones they should be able to win, but then they got to play UCLA. They play at Purdue. They've got Illinois at home, which is going to be tough. They play Duke in a tournament type thing. That's going to be tough. And then, of course, they'll have to play Michigan State again. So they've got some tough games, and it'll be a good test to see what this team can do down the stretch. But man, they're playing good. They moved to 21-1, which is the best start ever for a Michigan basketball team, which is awesome. They also moved to 11-1 in the Big Ten, tied for first with Illinois. Michigan scored 1.54 points per possession. They were absolutely clicking on all cylinders. That is their second highest mark of the year, second only to 1.55 against Oakland. And that's the most by Michigan in a Big Ten game since they started tracking that stat in the 1996-97 game. So 30 years we're talking here since Michigan has been that efficient and shooting 50% from 3, 60% from the floor overall, 31 assists and only 9 turnovers. What a clinic Michigan put on. And if they play like that, Penn State is not a good team, but they almost beat Michigan the first time because they weren't clicking like this. If they play like this, watch out. They are tough to beat. Ooh, It was fun to watch. Now it's time to talk about the results to yesterday's question of the day. Every day I ask a question of the day to you Michigan fans, and then the following day in that day's video, I reveal the results. If you haven't voted for today's question of the day, make sure you head to my community poll and vote after this video. So yesterday, today I was actually going to talk about the recruiting class, the signing day, and break it down and talk through the recruits. And that video will be coming, but with the Lou Esposito news, I just decided that was important to talk about. So anyway, I asked yesterday, out of the 4-star recruits, 4 of the big ones, which one will have the best career at Michigan? And the results are in, and here they are. And the winner was offensive lineman Malachi Lee. And I would probably agree with that. Out of the 4, if you had to pick one, I would say that he's probably going to have the best career. Of course, that's subjective, right? What would be the best career? But I think that he is going to be a beast for Michigan. He's fantastic. Very intelligent player, very passionate, great leadership, locker room guy, but also just a beast on the field. Very good offensive lineman. He is going to be a starter very soon for the Michigan Wolverines. But I also think Titan Davis is going to be an awesome defensive lineman. I mean, if you just look at his picture, he almost looks like a young Aaron Donald. So I'm excited about him. And Alistair Vallejo, I'm very excited about him as well. He reminds me a lot of Mason Graham when you watch him play. And then finally, of course, Travis Johnson. I think he would have had a huge role this year if Michigan had not brought in French and Buchanan and Moa. But I still think he's going to get some reps, and he's going to be a force for Michigan down the road. So very exciting recruiting class. Those 4 I'm really excited about, plus Hyder, plus Carter Meadows, plus a lot of other ones, Tariq Boney. I could go on, and I will in a video soon. Vincent, the defensive back, I think he's going to be special. We got some linebackers I'm excited about. More offensive linemen that look great. Some receivers, some safeties. Great recruiting class. Can't wait to talk to you guys about them. But thanks for voting on that, and I would agree. Malachi Lee, I think, will have the best out of those 4. But it's subjective. I think all 4 are going to be starters for Michigan and have great careers at Michigan. Maybe Malachi Lee will be the quickest starter out of the group, but who knows? We shall see. That's going to do it for this episode of the Maize and Bluebeard podcast. Thanks for hanging out with me. It always means the world to me when you take time out of your day to hang out and talk Michigan sports with me. But that's going to do it. So I will see you in the next video. Until then, have a fantastic rest of your day. And as always, go blue.